Soccer fans, a little impromptu show today for you, but Megan and I felt that it was really important for us to recap the week that was in UWS, which was match day 5. Megan, how are you this wonderful Tuesday evening?
I'm good. It feels odd to be doing a UWS show on an evening. I feel like I'm ready to say good morning, and then I'm like, wait, it's evening. But I'm super excited to discuss all things UWS. We had a really awesome weekend of action, so much for us to get into.
Lots to talk about. A winning streak that has been snapped, a conference that is up in arms because of that, and a lot to go over. But Megan, let's start off in the Central Conference. We had a lot going on. We're still waiting for some results. Obviously, it's Tuesday. Teams have some time to get those in, but we do want to make sure that everybody is getting those in. So if you're a club and you're watching, please make sure you get those scores in to your commissioners. Make sure they get into ops so we can get those schedules and everything else up to date for our fan base. But Megan, let's go ahead and start. What match from this past weekend had you on the edge of your seat? Let's not go to the Western Conference yet, but what conference, what game had you going, oh, wow, that's a good one?
Okay, so my eyes, two games, both the same teams, Lancaster Inferno and Paisley Athletic. I mean, pretty interesting to play each other on Friday and then a day of rest and come back and play each other on the Sunday.
Absolutely.
Very, very interesting for the players mentally to just deal with that. And then these two teams have already faced off against each other earlier on in the season as well. So this now they've played each other 3 times in total, and Lancaster have come away with 9 points from that. But I don't want to take anything away from Paisley because their record does not do them justice at all. They look like they're struggling from an outsider's point of view, yet to find their first win, but they're putting up some really solid performances against some really, really good sides. So that first game on the Friday finished with Lancaster winning 3-2. And then on the Sunday, you could kind of see the tired legs coming into it, and Inferno won 1-0. But I mean, did you catch either of those games?
I saw the 1-0 game, and the reason why is when we were talking about it Saturday morning, I wanted to see what that resolve was. Remember, we talked about conceding goals, and I wanted to see what Lancaster was going to do after conceding the last 2 matches, essentially. And I felt like they came out and they did a very good job defensively. If you look back on the match, they were really, I won't say concerned, but they were very, they weren't pressing the ball as high as they normally were. They kind of sat back in that attack, in that mid-third, to see if they could dictate the play, which they were able to do. And I feel like that was kind of the way the game was. Yeah, Paisley had their chance. They had a couple of chances, but in the end, Lancaster came out with a 1-0 win. What were your thoughts as it related to that side? I know the 3-2 game that we discussed, a little bit different, but a 1-0 game, you could see that there was almost like they didn't want to concede, that they were afraid of conceding goals in that match.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think both teams kind of had a different approach to what they had going into that Friday game. So I think Lancaster were like, we don't want to concede. We know that we can score goals. We know that we can put goals in the back of the net against this side. Let's relax. Let's play our game. We're not in a rush. We're going to grind this one out because this is a tough weekend for us. We're going into our now second game within a very short space of time. And then from Paisley's perspective, Lancaster likes to score in that first half. And so from Paisley's perspective, I feel like they went into that second game or third game against Lancaster total and were like, we can't let them score in the first 45 minutes. And they went out and they executed that really well as well. And then it was actually from a set piece that Lancaster were able to find the back of the net. They won a free kick in the 53rd minute, and Inferno just used it to send a dangerous ball in. Jackie Richards was probably the target. I mean, she's been great all season, but instead of trying to place it goalwards, she headed it back across goal for her teammate Gianna Yurchak to put into the top corner really difficult one for the goalkeeper to deal with. And set pieces, we've spoke about those again, time and time again, how pivotal they are in some of these games.
Yeah, and if you look back at the way that everything sets up, it kind of sets up for a good matchup between these two. You just don't know what you're going to get. It's been very back and forth the first two matches. Now here for match 3 with Paisley, Lancaster has kind of gotten a feeling for who they are and what they're capable of, and played very defensive minded. War seemed like they didn't want to lose more than they wanted to win in that match. And so when you go through and you look at the way they set up, definitely was more about, let's not lose this one. We'll take a point. That will be fine, but we're not going to lose and concede here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree. And I mean, now Lancaster have moved on to, what are they sitting at, 5-0, is it?
Yep.
So, I mean, what an impressive start from them. I know we've spoken about how they've gone from not conceding, now they are conceding, but they're still able to get those results in different kinds of games as well. And I just think that they're a really exciting team to watch. Jackie Richards has just been on fire. Excuse the pun for Lancaster Inferno. But yeah, I'm really enjoying watching her play too.
Yeah, and I think if you look at that division's a 2-horse race, and it goes back to the other match. Coppermine played 2 games this weekend. They played back to back, and they actually played Keystone, who hadn't played a game yet. And I was curious when I tuned in. I wanted to see what Coppermine would be able to do. You're coming off a back to back. You played a very physical Copa team the night before. Now you've got a new team who have not been in the UWS, and we know how that's worked out for a lot of the newer clubs. They go in and it's not a close match. But Coppermine actually came out of this match with a 2-1 win against Keystone. What were your thoughts on that, seeing that the newcomer, the debutante, got a goal and almost stole 3 points?
Yeah, I mean, I was very impressed with Keystone. I feel like they've kind of taken that interesting approach that we spoke about a little bit on the kickoff show this past weekend, where they've started their season a little bit later. Does that mean they have a condensed schedule for the remainder? Yes. But are they able to use that to their advantage in the sense that they've got all their girls there together? They look pretty solid as a team. They had some chemistry already, which is something that a lot of teams are lacking when they are a first year team. So yeah, I think that they're in a very good conference, but they really could be competing if they can, because I was very impressed with what I saw. I think they're a very well-rounded team.
Speaking of really good teams and conferences, let's head out to the Central Conference. Let's talk a little bit about the Heartland Division. I've got the Heartland Division as the Pac-12 football division of the UWS, because it seems like everybody wants to win it, but nobody wants to put a stronghold on it until this weekend. And I think one of those matches where you saw a team kind of put their foot down with FC Wichita as they took a 6-0 win over Arkansas. But then, not to be outdone, the Courage of Kansas City comes out with a 3-0 win against Sporting Nebraska, who's been on the heels of both these clubs pretty much all season, and obviously Gretna up there on top. This is a division where everybody wants to win it, but nobody has really grasped, hey, I'm the leader here, or I'm the captain of the boat, you could say.
Right. And FC Wichita, after last week, had kind of dropped to like a mid-table team, which is just nuts after their excellent start. And this 6-goal win for them meant they went back to the top of the division. And then KC Courage put up 3. And so then they're both now literally right there, 4-1 record, goal difference of 10. Like, how close can you get? And Gretna literally right there, 9 points. So they're just 1 point away. I mean, you're totally right. This conference is nuts. And I think we've just been waiting for FC Wichita to make that like stand to say like we are a solid team, because they've kind of grinded out a few like closer results, and this is the first time that we've really seen them put multiple goals on the board, and they made it happen pretty quick. the Kayla Diva got the goal scoring rolling with a excellent strike from outside or just inside the 18 in the 6th minute. And then they just grew and they grew. I think it was 4-0 at halftime. And then second half, the Comets put up a bit more of a fight, but in the last 10 minutes, Wichita were able to find the back of the net 2 more times. Bless you. And were just really showing their dominance in the attack, which is something we haven't quite seen. And I feel like that put that pressure on KC Courage. And then they came through too, which is exactly what we want to see from these conferences. We want these competitive games and we want this tense who's going to get this playoff spot. I don't like seeing the big results. I don't like seeing a clear top of the table position. I love when things are bouncing back and forth and moving position, and that's exactly what the Heartland division is providing us with.
I mean, we showed the goal differential and the points. There's a 1 goal differential between the 2 number 1s and number 2 being Gretna, and Wichita really kind of taking control point wise right now, but they still have that 1 loss, as does the Courage. So there's a lot that's at stake as we get moving forward. And again, we're halfway through the season, so it's just a matter of who's going to blink first, I guess.
Yeah.
So that matchup really set up for Side FC, who came out with a 3-1 win against Arkansas Wolves. Look, Side FC is not the same Side FC that we saw last year playing in that Southwest Division. It's a very different team. It's not as physical, it seems like at times. But look, when they started off with a 3-0 loss to Wichita, 6 days later they turn around to a 2-1 game. It's Jekyll and Hyde moments that are going to cause the Side FC team to have a bit of a hiccup as they go. And I can't see them staying in control of their own destiny now. It's going to take a lot.
Side FC have literally been going from side to side with their results. Like you don't know what you're going to get from them. They actually beat KC Courage earlier on in the season. It was a 2-1 game. And at the time I was thinking, okay, like, you know, that's a really good result for Side FC, like unlucky KC Courage. But upon reflection, I'm like, what a result. KC Courage have really been so strong this season. I'm kind of surprised that Side FC were able to do that because they then suffered this huge 6-0 loss to Gretna and then tied with the Arkansas Comets, which upon reflection again is probably a game that you would think Side FC could win. So they really have had a very up and down season, and you're correct in saying we just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and again, it's the Pac-12 of the UWS is that conference in the Heartland. You've got goal differential of 0. You've got 12 points from the top 2, Courage and Wichita. It's going to be interesting as we get closer towards the end of the season. Following up on that, you know, the Great Lakes Division is pretty much Corktown. They are 4-0, 5-0, depending on when we get those score results. I'm not sure what the result was. I think it was maybe a 4-0 win. And then Nationals, who are there with 7 points. So you've got some grouping. Michigan Jaguars as well. But I think between that, you have Corktown. I think they're going to win that division.
Totally agree. I think Corktown have that experience in that division. You've got, 3 new teams. Muskegon joined UWS last year, but as we know, they have sort of struggled to adjust to that level of the UWS. And so Corktown really just seemed to be that front runner.
Yeah, and then Heartland Division is going to be it's going to come down to those 3, Gretna, Courage, and Wichita, unless Side FC goes to the side that shows that they can win. And then in the Midwest, look, St. Louis Scott Gallagher was part of that core last year in the Central Division and was really good. They did a really good job they showed off well. But then you got the Chicago Mustangs, and we know what that was like last year for them. They were putting up goals left and right. Look, we're only 4 games in for them. They've only allowed 1 goal, and their goals for 39. So they have a 38 goal differential through 4 games played. Now, if that's not a chip on your shoulder saying, "Hey, look, we didn't go out on our own terms last year," I don't know what is.
Right, and then you've also got Nina Niskosha, who is leading the UWS with 8 assists. And then I believe Mallory Olsen is also tied for first on goals as well, which doesn't surprise me given the player profiles and then the scores of those games. Um, yeah, they're a solid side. But my question is, how solid are they? Because is this just a case of, the competition in the Midwest division is not on par with the Mustangs? Or are the Mustangs just that good? And even if we put them in like the Penn New York division, they would be seriously romping it too. I just can't wait to see the Mustangs get out of the Midwest and play other opponents and really get tested and see how they respond, because so far their games, I don't know. I mean, as a player, if it was me, yes, I enjoy getting on the score sheet. Yes, I enjoy getting recognition. Leading the entire country in goals or assists is an incredible honor, and I don't want to take that away from either of those players because they are phenomenal players. But I want to be playing in those competitive games, and so I think that the Mustangs probably feel the same way and are just itching to play St. Louis Scott Gallagher again and itching to get out of the Midwest division and face whoever it may be.
Well, that they will. They will play St. Louis Scott Gallagher again this weekend. And so
Okay.
if you go back to the very first game, it was a 2-1 win by the Mustangs. So that the one goal conceded was that first week. What has Scott Gallagher learned over the last 4 weeks? What have the Mustangs learned over the last 4 weeks? This is going to be an interesting matchup on Saturday. We'll talk more about it on the kickoff show. But I think this is an opportunity for St. Louis Scott Gallagher to send a message, say, hey, look, you can score all the goals you want. At the end of the day, we're the ones to beat. So that will be interesting. Saturday, June 18th, 11 o'clock, Olympic Park. It's going to be a good one. Make sure you're ready for that on 11. But I think this division is going to come down to this game, and we'll see on Saturday. We'll make sure we have a conversation. So other than that, I think in that particular conference, in that division, it's a two-horse race. We'll find, like I've been saying, we'll find out on Saturday on who's going to have the opportunity to represent.
Yeah, and then the other game we also saw from that division and on Friday was Illinois Premier versus Indiana Union. Indiana Union really securing that third spot in the standings. Dominant win over Illinois Premier, who are yet to win a game or even score a goal. The two teams played back on May 20th, and Indiana Union put 11 past Illinois. They're a new team in the UWS. So I'm thinking like that growth from 11-0 to 5-0, while it's still 2 losses, I'm glad to see that come down. The way that their schedule was that they had quite a big break after that first game. And so what did they do during that time? It looks like they have solidified more. And as they grow and look to the future, potentially they may be just looking to next year at this point and say, we're using this to develop, we're using this to experience the UWS, and next year we're going to come back ready for the real competition that we now know exists. So that's another interesting scoreline to compare how Illinois Premier have grown over those weeks.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Everybody's growing over the course of this time frame, and they should be trying to build and be as capable as possible on the pitch. So we'll see. Those newcomers, maybe they just need a goal, maybe they just need 2 goals, and then that lights a fire. But we'll continue to see. Eastern Conference is going to be a 2-horse race unless Keystone, who just started this past weekend, is able to pull together. You've got Lancaster Inferno, you've got Copper Mine. I am going to go out and I'm going to say Copper Mine might just win this division. And the reason is if you look at the way they've played, they're a very physical team. They're very compact. They don't allow much to happen in the midfield, and they're working their way outside and in. They're very Eastern Conference Blue Heat style, but they're also got a little bit of a different swag to them. If you look at the way they've played and the way that they've set themselves up, 7 goals for, 1 against. That's a 6-goal differential, 12 points. They have Lancaster Inferno has a game above them. They played 5. Copper Mines played 4. When these two play each other, this is the game to watch. This is the one to have your popcorn ready for because they have two more matches against one another. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens or who's trying to position for that spot up on top. In fact, this this matchup that we will see for them is going to come later. But when you look at what Copper Mine's got, they've got Paisley on Friday, then they've got Keystone next Wednesday, the 22nd. So they have some time, and then they got Copa. But that Lancaster Inferno, they finished the season out with each other July 8th and July 10th, a home and away, Friday, Sunday, to see who has the upper hand for the division. What do you think you see out of the Eastern Conference Mid-Atlantic Division?
Yeah, it's a tough one to call. And, I feel like that Coppermine versus Paisley game is really going to give us a good indication of what's going to happen come the end of the season. Because for me, Paisley are that team that, although their record doesn't make them look like they're a top team, if you can beat Paisley, I think that you've got a really solid chance at being Lancaster. If you fall to Paisley, I think that Lancaster will take it. This is a really, really tough one to say out of Coppermine and Lancaster. Two very, 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 very solid teams. For me, I see Lancaster Inferno coming out of this Mid-Atlantic division. They have a long history as a club. I feel like they're a really solid, entire, well-rounded organization. And I think that they've just been patiently waiting to have a solid start like this and to then run with it. And I think that's what we're going to see them do. And I really hope that we do see them do it too, because I'm really rooting for them from down here in Florida. So for me, I see Lancaster taking this one all the way, but I don't think Coppermine's going to let that happen without a fight. So either way, there's going to be a solid team coming out of this Mid-Atlantic division.
Well, going from the Mid-Atlantic, let's go to the New England. And the Connecticut Fusion, I think, is having a championship hangover. They were the second place team last year in all of UWS. This year, they're really fighting, it seems, their own internal problems or own internal selves in that they're in matches, but they're not in matches. It's kind of the same thing with Side FC, right? New England Mutiny, though, who were kind of disappointing last year to say, coming out of COVID, you thought that you would see the Mutiny really return back to what they're used to, which is winning. That took a year. This year, they're on top of the world. They're fighting. They're on fire. They've played 5 matches. Albany Rush, who's right there, they've played 5 matches. But Mutiny's 5 points ahead. They've got 15 points from those 5 matches. That's a perfect record for those of you keeping track at home. I'm not a mathematician. 1 + 1 is 3. But I was able to do some math. It's kind of easy. So when you look at it, yes, this division is almost, you could call it over. But I think Albany Rush has showed quite a different resolve the last few matches. They've definitely played a lot better, and they are playing against strong caliber teams. What are your thoughts about Albany Rush?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying that side. I think both Mutiny and Albany Rush kind of slipped under the radar a little bit last year, and then this year they're saying we're here for business. 2 really great results. Yes, they were playing against potentially easier teams this weekend, but took care of business. 6 points, I think 11 goals in total across the weekend. You really can't ask for much more. And then I want to touch on Mutiny too, because every game that I watched last year of Mutiny, I thought, this is a solid team. Why aren't they kind of getting more results? Every time I see them, I think they're doing really well. And then when I look at the table, maybe I missed a week of their play and they lost that game. And so I think this year they're really coming into their own. And for me, this division is definitely going to New England Mutiny. I think they're going to be the ones to rep this division. And I'm a little bit disappointed in CT Fusion this year. They've not been the side that we enjoyed so much last year, that kind of underdogs grinding through and then coming up right as we needed them to. It was such a thrilling story to watch them over the course of those weeks. And I'm disappointed that we haven't been able to see that same side. But it also shows you that the UWS is unpredictable. The UWS has teams one year who are like this, and then the next year down here, and other teams are coming up, and that's what we want to see. We don't want to see, oh, it's going to be these guys going again. We want this competition. So on one hand, disappointed for them, but on the other hand, excited about how much talent we have in the UWS.
Yeah, and it comes down to a little bit of I don't see the same physicality from the Fusion this year. Last year, they were a very physical team. You could see that they trusted their physicality. They played a physical brand of soccer, and that was what set them apart from everybody else. Is when everybody else was tired from the summer of soccer, they were still going strong because they were playing physical. They were bodying people. They were making sure that they finished tackles, that they were going through and playing strong, solid defensively. And it just doesn't seem like it has the same tone to it this year. It may be that these teams that they're playing have picked up on it. They reviewed the tape. Scorpions has done really well. We'll see if they can make a late season run. But there's a lot open there. Yes, Mutiny's walking away with it right now, but I think after tonight and hearing what we're saying, there's going to be some teams who are going to be like, nope, not going to happen. Not on my watch.
Ready for it.
Moving to the Pennsylvania-New York division, Buffalo proves to be human. They took a loss last week, and I'm waiting for Erie to just stay solid. 2 wins, 0 losses, 3 draws. Come on, let's turn those points into 3, and let's see what happens. 13 goals for, 10 against. So they're not really like electrifying, but they're winning matches or drawing. And I think they have an opportunity. They've played 5 matches, so has Buffalo, and they have a chance to really get into the mix for a playoff. Rochester Lancers, who we were extremely critical of last year, hey, guess what? They're right there. They're 3 points away. They have a game in hand, and they were the ones who handed Buffalo a loss. So, look, what's going to happen here? The Lancers, can they find a way? Can they find a way?
I actually can't cope with the Penn New York division. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, when I'm prepping for the kickoff show, like, I want to jump around in these divisions, but my eyes always just look at Penn New York because you don't know what's going to happen. And that Sunday result with Buffalo beating the Hotspurs 5-0 had me shocked. And usually, I'm like, oh, it was a big win game, like, eh. But that 5-0 game had me like, whoa, because the Hotspurs have really been a very solid team despite sitting at the bottom of that division. They haven't got a win yet, but they are able to score and they are able to put up a fight. And like, to beat them 5-0, I'm wondering what has switched in Buffalo's team. And I'm really excited to see them next game. And then I look at Erie, like you say, they're exciting me too. They had the chance this weekend to take first place because they had 6 points up for grabs. But, playing 2 games in one weekend is very, very tough. And they secured all 3 in their first of the weekend against the Hotspurs. And then they tied with the Lancers. So they, everything is going on in this division. I love how competitive it is. These top 3 teams, I think, is who it's going to come down to. But every game counts in this division because there's no, and I don't want to pick on teams, but there's no like team that you're like, yeah, that's a 3-point game. I don't see that in this division, which is what makes it just that more exciting to me.
Well, we'll continue to see what's happening there. Again, there's some Hotspurs can get hot. Let's see if that happens. Pittsburgh Hotspur, FC Berlin, who's been fighting. I think there has not been a game where I've been like, oh, they're a first-year team. They very much have settled into the role of potentially playing a spoiler as we get down the stretch here. And they're high on my list to make some waves. Maybe not make the playoffs. They're 0-2-3, but definitely maybe, ruin somebody's summer plans to head to the national championship.
Exactly. I think that this is that division where oh, I've got Pittsburgh Hotspurs or FC Berlin as my last game of the season. That does not mean you're getting 3 points against those teams. They may be at the bottom right now, but they are not easy to beat. They will put up a fight. They can score goals. I mean, this division, sorry, has given us a lot of very close, high scoring affairs.
Yeah, and we'll continue to do that as we go forward in the summer of soccer. Hopefully, we'll see some more coming from them as we go. Look, Southeast Division, Pensacola, where are you at? Pensacola FC, where are you at?
I'm so confused by this Southeast division. I live in the Southeast. I want to love this division, but I can't because who knows what's going on. I mean, I'm sorry, but we need some results. We need some social media coverage. We need some stuff going on. And I don't want to keep only seeing FC Birmingham's results because they make me sad. Just saying.
Well, we got Atlanta Panthers. Look, 2 games, 17 goals for, none against. The other Atlanta entity, the Atlanta Fire, have been actually playing very well. They have a win and a draw. So they're showing some resolve. Now, look, Pensacola is the darling of Florida. They're the only Florida team to be representing in the UWS. And last year, if you remember, they took the UWS by storm, and they made it very much their league, their playground. And so my hope is that they are able to turn it around. They have, if you look at the standings, they've got 0, 0, 0, 0 across the board. So hopefully, we're able to see them in the coming days going forward. But yeah, Atlanta Panthers are starting to look really good.
Yeah, and this game on this past Saturday, the Atlanta Panthers played against Pensacola, and I was not able to find a stream, not able to find a result, and that game is a really, really crucial game in this Southeast Division because, like you say, Pensacola took the league by storm last year. And they've got a history of doing that. They are a very, very solid side. Ask any women's soccer player, and ask any soccer player, period, in Florida, and they will tell you that Pensacola is one of those top teams. They attract top class players, and they're a team that you're expecting to probably win the Southeast Division. However, like you say, the Atlanta Panthers are right there right now. And so we want to know, how did that matchup go? Because that will really tell us just how far Atlanta Panthers have come since last season.
Yeah, so we'll continue to see. We'll monitor it. We'll talk about it on the. We'll get some more information. We'll have it ready for the kickoff show regarding Pensacola and what's happening, so everybody's aware. But moving to the Southwest Division, look, we talked with Danny Woodfill and Austin and kind of what they were going through. A bit of a transition, you could say, in what they were going through last year. They were still looking for somebody who had the same mentality that Danny had. Well, they found that now in a head coach. But I don't want to talk about them. I want to talk about the Athenians and what's happening in the water in San Antonio. It's like every time we have a match that involves the Athenians, it's a hat trick fest. Right. And there's hats. Look, there's hats everywhere. And they've even got the golden sombrero. It needs to be gold, Leland. Happy birthday, Leland Hammonds, by the way, who's celebrating 21 again. And his San Antonio Athenians are playing just fire right now, almost like they realize that they've got some work to do.
Yes, I think you are completely right. The Athenians, they are just such a joy to watch. Like, I'll say it time and time again. I love the goals that they score because they're always just such team goals. I love the fact that they had so many goal scorers in that dominating 9-0 win. They had 6 different players on that score sheet. You had Ayala Keeley with 3 goals, Tori Foster with a brace. I mean, they are just such a good team. And yet they did drop a game right at the beginning of the season to Luxuria. And so they are fighting this uphill battle. They had an epic battle with FC Austin Elite. And this is another one of those divisions that you just can't take your eyes off of because there's so many great games coming from it.
Yeah, there's still a lot left to play for there. In fact, if you look at the way it sets up perfectly for some chaos. And we know how much we love chaos because, you know, Luxuria plays again against the Athenians July 8th. July 1st, Athenians and Elite at the Round Rock. There's a lot of games to be played here, and I'm excited to see what happens. I want to think that FC Austin Elite is gonna hold strong. I like to think that the Elite have what it takes to finish. But look, you can't go against the Athenians. They started off a little slow, a little lethargic, you could say, with that opening loss. It was not what we expected. They lost 3-2 to Luxuria. That's not what we are used to for the Athenians. So maybe that was the wake-up call that they needed. Don't poke the bear. Well, the bear was poked. Let's see what happens now.
Exactly. And I also feel like this weekend we saw that kind of, even though FC Austin Elite and the Athenians didn't play each other, I feel like we still saw the rivalry come through because FC Austin Elite beat the Hornets 3-0 and the Athenians were like, we see you and we'll raise you. We're going to triple that. And then they put 9 past them. And I'm just like, I love seeing these games where like even, you know, not playing each other, but the rivalry still exists. And it just is so thrilling as a fan, especially when these teams are providing such high quality soccer too. It's just a joy to watch. And I love this Southwest Division. And there's going to be a lot more action to come. Like you say, we've got some really, really good matchups. And I think that Luxuria are also trying to say, like, don't put us out of it because we're putting 6 past Wilco tonight. And you know, don't sleep on us.
I'm sleeping on him. I'm sleeping on him. I think I want to believe that it's a story, right? It's an opportunity. This could be bulletin board material, but I don't know. And I might be saying this to hype them. They might not be ready for the big stage of that conference yet. And so we'll see as we go forward. They still have a couple of games against, you know, Athenians and Austin. We'll see what happens. I don't know if they're quite ready, but I'm ready to talk about this Western Conference. Okay. My goodness, this weekend through the entire Western Conference upside down. The defending champions, Santa Clarita Blue Heat, they were home against Calgary. Look, last year, Calgary Foothills has always been a very good team. They've always had great resolve. They've played well no matter what. Look, this weekend they went down into LA and they came away with a 1-0 win. Yes, this is probably the first time that they've actually, I know that's the first time they've won at Santa Clarita on the road. And to come away with that result can't be a bad thing. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, they must be on such a high. What a confidence booster. And if you haven't seen the interview with the head coach, head to their Twitter to check it out because he says it himself. Like, we recognize that FC Blue Heat has a really great roster, but so do we. And you look at that Calgary roster and you agree. They have great talent and they're a really good side. They score very well worked goals. They're very fun to watch. They're physical, but also they play really good soccer. They spray the ball about, they possess. And so this is a game that I have been wondering if Calgary could do it. And they proved they can. And I think this just lights up something in the West Conference to make it go wild. We've still got FC Arizona, who we haven't really seen what they can do. I think they've played just Congo so far, 2 games against Congo. So we really don't know what they're capable of, but we know that they're an attacking threat. They've scored a lot of goals already in just 2 games, and let's see how their back line is. Let's see how their goalkeeper is. And we're going to see that very, very soon because I believe SC Blue Heat are traveling to Arizona for a matchup on Saturday. So that's going to be a really important game to see. Are we looking at it being a battle of Blue Heat and Calgary Foothills, or is this a 3-way battle?
Well, let's listen to what Coach Tuck had to say post-match here for the Foothills contingency post-match against the Blue Heat. Here we go. There you have it. Straight out of coach's mouth. What do you think?
I mean, I think that's a great little post interview chat from him. And I'm really, really excited for Calgary. They're making history. They're having these moments, and they have a roster that deserves to make these moves and deserves to earn these 3 points. They also had a really good performance against Los Angeles on the Friday as well. I mean, what a weekend from them. They were really, really dominant. There was a goal in that game, the LASC versus Calgary Foothills, that I would actually like to nominate for goal of the week, but I don't know the player's name. It was the goal in the 32nd minute that was just excellent, a very individual goal. Um, we need to know these Calgary players. We need to boost them. I want to get them on the kickoff show. Like, I want to hear from them because I feel like they're this Canadian team that we kind of know a little bit about. And now we know they've been SC Blue Heat. They're legit. And like, let's find out more.
Does it give them more credibility that they were able to go to Los Angeles to beat Blue Heat, or does it kind of make us go, okay, they had a bad game? What are your thoughts on that?
For me, I don't think Blue Heat had a bad game in that game. I think it was a very, very even battle. I think that Blue Heat had a difficult weekend too. They played Impact on the Friday and then on the Sunday turned around and played Calgary. Um, and it happens. I think it, in a sense, Blue Heat might even be thinking, guys, calm down. It was one game, it was 1-0, it was very close. Yes, they beat us, but like, we're good. We're fine. We know we're a very, very strong competitive team. We're still the reigning champions, and we're going to show you why. So I think their response this weekend is going to be very interesting. And it's against FC Arizona, which makes it even more interesting.
Even more interesting. Lots of soccer to be played. Lots of matches this coming weekend. We'll get you caught up on all of that on the kickoff show Saturday morning, hosted by Megan. I'm going to be out of town, but Megan's going to have she's going to be on the mic. She's going to be in charge. So I hope you're ready for that. See, there you go. The pink mic is ready. But hey, listen, I want to take a second and I want to send our condolences from the team here at UWS to the Cleves family. Stephanie Cleves and Francisco recently lost. Francisco lost his father, who was a retired pediatrician and a member of the faculty in Honduras, a medical faculty. He passed away a couple weeks ago. He wasn't doing well, but was unexpected to hear it. We are honored to have the opportunity to be in the presence of Stephanie and Francisco, and we send our condolences to them as well, as they've lost somebody very important to them. He dedicated his life to make the lives of sick children better. And with that, I want to say, again, our condolences to the Cleves family as they work through this difficult time in their lives. So Francisco, Stephanie, you guys are in our thoughts and prayers, and we hope to see you guys here soon, joining us on the show. But Megan, before we head out, I know that's kind of a somber moment, but anything to add, and what should people be looking for as we get ready? Is there any games this week that people should be having their eyes on?
For me, it's going to be that SC Blue Heat FC Arizona game that is pulling my attention, but there's a lot of really good games coming up. We are bringing you all the action. You know, we're adding a show for you, a recap show. We've got the kickoff show. Our Cup of Tea is going to go live on Thursday evening. If you're an athlete, we would love for you to join us live. Send us in your comments. We really want to increase our participation over there. Just get involved. You know, there's so much going on. If you see a goal that you like, get a video of it, post it, we'll share it. There's so much action and so much talent in the UWS and across America this summer of soccer that we want to promote. So get involved, tweet us, whatever it is, and yeah, let's have fun with it.
Yeah, and again, let's have fun. You're in charge this weekend. Good luck. Have fun doing it. And for everybody else, listen, we enjoy the time. We enjoy talking UWS soccer during the summer of soccer, and we'll catch up with everybody this week. Our Cup of Tea posts another episode tomorrow.
Thursday, we're going to go live. So
Ooh.
not our usual Wednesday, but Thursday we will be chatting to all you guys, and we're super excited for it.
Thursday live. Saturday morning kickoff show. Can't beat it. All right, everyone. Have a great rest of the week. Cheers, everyone. And go USA.
I'm a part of UWS because of the opportunity it provides women.
Because it provided me the competition and exposure I needed to get to where I am today.
Because financial transparency is important to me.
Because at its core and within its leadership, it is truly dedicated to the promotion of the women's game.
Because of the competitive pathway it provides female players and coaches.
Because it expands the pathway of our club and offers more opportunities for players to develop.
Because I too support women in sports.
Because of the people. I love competing at a high level with some awesome teammates and getting to compete against people around the country.
Because it provides female athletes with a much needed platform to remain in the game in a professional setting.
Because it's the best summer league in the whole country. There's no question about it.
Because of the commitment to diversity for the players, coaches, and administrators of the UWS.
Because I like the opportunity to compete at such a high level and the advancement of the women's game.
I am a part of UWS because I believe in its vision and its leadership.